Boy podcast. We have so much to get into today, but actually, we're using a new software, a new setup, and we have a microphone here with us, the Logitech microphone. First time getting to try this out on my own podcast. I just got off of Elijah the Media Guy's stream. We talked about a lot. We talked about pop culture in one stream. We talked about politics in another stream. Very interesting. I think it's good that we have these conversations with other people who might disagree with our ideas, and we're going to move this podcast more past tech and into something more interesting as well. We're making this podcast more of a culture show. We're supposed to have someone come on today and talk about technology and teen culture. We had a nice game planned out, but unfortunately they got busy, so we could not be able to do that today. Maybe we'll do it the next day as well. But let's talk about this week in the TechBoy podcast, tech and teen culture. We're going to go over our tech headlines from the TechBoy.org, and then we're going to react to a video because I did not bring any extra tech headlines. Because we were going to be playing lots of games, trivia games, in as well. We got one person watching on Rumble, no one watching on YouTube, no one on X right now. I'm podcasting in the Rumble studio. This is actually might be the greatest thing that Rumble's ever done. You know, Rumble is not that good of a video website, but this studio, it is completely free, and I'm able to multi-stream to Rumble, to YouTube, and to X. So that is great. And I actually have two products. Actually, no, multiple products we're going to be reviewing. We're going to be reviewing this camera that we're recording from right here. We're going to be reviewing the my electric scooter, and then I have a new accessory for my electric scooter, and I'm getting into my own business making my own electric scooter accessories here at GCU. So if anyone wants those accessories, you guys know how to find me. You can contact me, and maybe after this we'll get out there and start doing some vlogs. But my computer is actually maybe 4 product reviews, because we have talked about the Samsung Galaxy M7, but I actually have the M7 right here in studio, so that is very nice. I don't think I can, let's see, can I pick this up and show it to you? No, I can't, but it's a nice big 32-inch display. I can show you the remote. Very cool. Has USB-C on here, has all my volume controls, and it has the USB-C here at the bottom here, and solar panel to charge. And my microphone that we were recording off of, we got the Logitech microphone. Hope you guys can see this. I got it because my other microphone still has not arrived to Amazon yet. But first, let's get over to our headlines from the TechBoy.org, and then we're going to react to a Mr. Who's the Boss video. And if anyone has any questions for me, you are free and welcome to ask. Let me see if I can share this on Instagram. So let me pull this up. But there's lots of stuff happening on the artificial intelligence side. People obviously hate AI, as they always do. We talked a lot about that last episode. Right now, it is. Maybe we can talk about some SSI-LTW stuff as well. As you guys know, 6 years ago on Valentine's Day, I actually projected that it would be a grave day for national security, as we were in the midst of the Nika War between SSA and her allies, of course. Let me just take a picture for this and say, I'm live. Boom. Very fun, very fun. Just like you're pretending to be a teenage girl. But let me move this over to screen. And on my Rumble stream, we were talking about a lot of stuff. But very, very insane. Very insane. All right, come on, Instagram. And happy Valentine's Day to all those who celebrate. I hope your assigned Mossad agent is doing well. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get over to our headlines. It's the first time I'm sharing my screen on Rumble. So let's see how this works. Okay, so that's the only way we can show our screens, but that's fine. Can I move this? No? Okay, whatever. Let's get to our first headline. Let's talk about Surf. So Flipboard announces Surf, and I think this is really good. This can actually be our segment. Flipboard, the news magazine app, lets you flip through content from sources that you follow. So it's basically TikTok for news. That's where I get some of my things that I like to talk about for. So if I'm ever scrolling on my phone and I'm not on X incessantly posting, what I'll be doing is to talk, scrolling through Flipboard, and it gives you some interesting stories. Now, some of them are long form, some of them aren't. I think that we are seeing some problems right now on the internet. It's really hard to find good long form content, and all of this long form content that is good to find, it all subscribes to one particular ideology. We don't really see many right of center long form content. We can't really find much of it as well. I mean, we do see think tanks and policy institutes and things of that nature, but some of those websites, their SEO is not that good. So Flipboard is really useful for finding some of these articles. I think the problem with the internet is, I'm probably going to do a nice read about this, is that there's so much content on the internet. I was reading Wikipedia, which is one of the things I also like to do on my phone. I was reading Wikipedia. There's 3 million podcasts that exist, probably even more now. And that's just podcasts that Wikipedia knows about. And, I really can't find many of them. I was listening to a podcast interview of, what's her name? Anyway, she's a CNN reporter. Her name will probably come to me soon. But she's a CNN reporter, and of course she was getting interviewed. I thought it was pretty interesting. I want to see more interviews, more slice of life stuff like this, especially more things like we are talking about from a Christian perspective. As a 2003 evangelical neocon, I want to see more stuff like that that's catered to me. I probably have to make it myself because I really don't see that happening. But I want to see more Christian websites, more Christian podcasts that aren't just focused on the Bible. The Bible is an amazing book. It's a great book, and I've talked about this before. It is a finite book. You will run out of verses. You're going to run out of books eventually. So I want to see more things that are interesting. We actually have a rated article for you guys today. Adventures in Odyssey. I know this is kind of late, but they are releasing a movie. I want to see more interesting slice of life Christian entertainment. I think that the internet can be a good place to have this. I actually went live this week. I've been super busy going on all kinds of podcasts. I went live this week and I tried to explain to people how it's very important that kids still have access to the internet and that we're not, censoring our teens, because I think that it's really good for them to have an outlet for their free expression. And I also think that uh, we we need to have biblical values that are imparted in them, and I think the internet is a good way to do that. To have stuff like that, like Got Questions. You guys can go listen to this entire interview. It's up online somewhere. I'll post it for you guys. But I just think that we need more Christian entertainment. And I think that we have it, and we have all these podcasts, but it's really hard to find, which is why I'm really interested in what Flipboard is doing right here. So Flipboard announces the application Surf, which lets you find fresh, interesting content that could be beyond what's pushed by the algorithms driven for you feeds. And I'm not against the algorithm. I just think that the algorithm needs to get better. The TikTok algorithm, I've spent some time with it. It's okay, I guess. I'm using it just to find some GCU centric content, but I wish it was better. I wish the YouTube algorithm was tons better, especially since it's the number one podcast application. It's where lots of people find podcasts, and it's just really not doing it for me. Spotify, it's okay, but now Spotify is kind of turning into YouTube. I think these applications, they need to have better algorithms. Someone was talking about how Spotify uses an AI code tool, and how Spotify only uses now codeds only use it to like make the code that the AI puts out better. And I'm like, what does Spotify even need to code? They really haven't changed their application. It's just a website at this point. But that's neither here nor there. It's basically just a website. You listen to music. I don't really know what exactly they're doing. Like, what are these coders doing 8 hours every day sitting in their cubicles? Like, what exactly could be broken? Are they coding in for liquid glass? Does it take that long? The Surf application, I haven't been able to use it, but it's like a smarter evolution of an RSS reader. So it blends in your traditional news feed of social media into one application. And the only problem is that the social media applications that it lets you import include Mastodon, Blue Sky, and Threads. Yes, Blue Sky, Mastodon, and Threads. Very influential. No X integration. But Mastodon made the cut. And then these Fediverse applications full of crazy people, the most annoying people with limited cultural impact and the most radical people online got added to this before X did. Now, there are reasons for that. But the truth of the matter is, no one cares about Mastodon. No one cares about Blue Sky. No one cares about Threads, barely enough. Right? And if Flipboard has support for networks that people use, or if you're able to access this without needing to use a Blue Sky Mastodon account, which I'm not going to create. This could be a solid addition to the application ecosystem, and it could allow you to help cut through the actual slop that's on the internet. I mean, someone actually posted on X today that no one dances anymore because you have a camera in your face all the time. I sent back the fastest fact check in history. Now, the fact that this post is written like it's 2011 and it's like a Arab Spring post or whatever, it's protesting or whatever. You know, you always got these people, the wannabe radicals, wannabe revolutionaries, posting nonsense. Let me see if I can find it here. But they just, sit at home because there is nothing that they actually want to radicalize. Let me see what I can find here on the screen. Come on, where is it? Come on. Oh, Christy Lamont. Yes, Christy Lamont. If you guys can see what you're seeing on the screen here. No, Christy Lamont, I'm not always here for you. That's for my allies. Yes, there we go. Always find people criticizing me for having an Israeli flag when it has literally nothing to do with the point. But anyway, look at this post here from Miga. Miga says, listen to what Miga says, the wannabe revolutionary. No one dances when anyone can be recorded at any time and humiliated. No one takes a chance to ask how to go when the entire interaction could be used to humiliate him online. No one lives while everyone is surveilling each other. Animals living in this form of oppression do not reproduce. Yes, very, very radical, very very overblown, very over the top. And here's a fact check from my 2024 podcast episode. This is the last one where we're talking about how teenagers are glad that TikTok are coming back and a surge of patriotism comes back. Guys, look at this. No one dances anymore, which is why this is a totally AI image. This looks like a good prompt to put into the image, though. We get lots of clicks, but no one dances apparently. And 44.4 thousand people thought this was a good point that I made here. Easiest fact check in history, and also the Arab Spring was 15 years ago. Let's stop acting like a Twitter activist, guys. If you're gonna be active, be an X-axis. Now, the people who were criticizing me for this, they're saying you're not getting the difference between organic spur of the moment dancing versus influencer TikTok dance slop for kids. Who on earth is spur of the moment dancing in the Big 26 or ever? And also, so spur of the moment dancing has now moved to content. And speaking of kids, these people look like they're about 17 years old. So I'm not really seeing how no one dances is a criticism anymore. People dance all the time. There was this entire thing called flossing on TikTok. TikTok dances. That's a thing that happened. Now, I have yet to see many of that happening. I actually saw that happen once, guys. I should have taken my microphone and interviewed them. I got to be very conspicuous with this microphone because you gotta have a reason to talk to these people. And if you run around with a microphone, people let you talk to them. It's just a fact of life. It is a cheat code. I talked a lot about cheat codes happening in the culture today. But, like I was talking about, how it's super hard to find stuff on the internet today, how you want to find your own interests, how you want to have your own movies, how you want to have your own content. Let's talk about the Odyssey boy, now rated. Hopefully you guys can see this on the screen. The invention Odyssey is set to release a movie amid artificial intelligence concerns. It's really funny how the audio drama that's based off of lots of computers and high technology is spurring all these people who hate the audio drama using high-tech technology. Kristen audio drama and rated #1 audio drama Invention Odyssey. That's supposed to be rated. Dang it, I said RAYTED because I rated it #1. Invention Odyssey is releasing the movie Journey into the Unknown into theaters amid backlash over the use of artificial intelligence. It is, of course, the policy of the TechBoy media to support this, and it's ironically funny as Invention Odyssey has had artificial intelligence in their stories for years with the Imagination Station, Mabel, the Computer Room, the Edulink, which was a satellite link up. It was so cool. Invention Odyssey is what got me into computing. They had the Edulink, which is a computer that had access to a satellite link up and video chat and hologram way back in 2006, and they're sending these out to the poor kids of India so that they could help them get an education, which is really interesting because one, we're seeing folks on the family take a stand that technology and education is a good thing. At least that's what the editorial team of Instant Odyssey, the writing team, believed. And you're also seeing them seeing high-tech communications technology, which you've talked about before. I think we talked about communication satellites and how we've lost those. So sad. But this movie is going to tell the story of Whit and his teen kids, Janet and Jason, living in Odyssey before Mr. Whitaker sets up his Witch in Town shop. And we're going to be seeing this movie come out into theaters, and then it's going to go on to streaming, which is cool. We're going to see a series coming to streaming. The sad thing is that Instant Odyssey episodes are no longer coming onto the radio today. Very, very sad. I think we have lost something as a culture, as a country. It's sad. Let's see what Lad YouTube says. Tech Boy, hello everybody. Do you have any questions for me? This is someone from YouTube coming in. All right, now let's go over to our second headline from TheTechBoy.org, and I really got to fix this website. Let's go talk about the best offline voice typing website. I probably said some insane stuff while I was voice typing, and probably people thought I was crazy, but people always think that. That's fine. There's this application called FUTO Keyboard. Let's see what Lad says. Lad says, "Love you, bro." Well, love you too, and hope you're a great subscriber, and that you like this company and this culture. Let's talk about FUTO Keyboard, Samsung Keyboard, Gboard, or whatever, are pretty good keyboards. And I actually don't type on FUTO Keyboard a lot. It's not the best, or Gboard. I like Samsung Keyboard. Though Samsung Keyboard could be a little bit better. FUTO Keyboard is okay for typing, but it is excellent for offline voice typing. And unlike the regular voice typers, what you'll see is you talk for as long as you want, and then it will regenerate all of your text into. So it won't see the text happening in real time, but it takes an extra second of processing. And you have these different models. I use the English 30 line model here. If you want even more accurate, English 30 line, I'd say is about 95% accurate. But if you talk a lot and you want to transcribe everything, maybe use the English 244 model here or English 74 model. It has all these models, you use it. And the best thing about this is if you use the FUTO voice keyboard application. So it's two different applications, FUTO Keyboard, which includes voice keyboard, and FUTO voice keyboard, which is just a voice keyboard. If you click the button here, you can, it's a button that looks like a tiny little keyboard, and make sure to show keyboard buttons on Samsung keyboard. You can switch into FUTO voice input keyboard. You say that, and then as soon as you're done talking, and as soon as this goes away and your text pops back up, it will take you back to your main keyboard. So Samsung keyboard or Microsoft Swift keyboard, whatever your favorite keyboard application is. Now, is this boring that we're talking about a keyboard application? Maybe, but this is really, really useful. So I highly recommend this, and you don't even have to pay for it. There's a button in there where it asks you if you paid for it. You can just click it, and then it'll ask you if you paid for it again. You can just click it again. It's basically a donation. You don't actually have to pay for this. It's a great application. And as you can see on the screen, you can add your own personal dictionary. It's 10 out of 10 stars, 5 out of 5 stars application. Guys, you should definitely check it out. This is the FUTO voice keyboard application. Now, for our last headline, we're going to talk about where all these people are going to get their jobs in artificial intelligence. This is a major concern amongst people. I think it's a lot of fear mongering. We talk about how people like to fear monger on the internet, especially. Sometimes evangelicals will do this as well, to talk about how the end times is upon us. The last days are nigh. And of course, the last days are technically nigh, but you'll be raptured before that happens. So I don't really see what the problem is, why you're so concerned and scared about the last days. The only people who should be concerned and scared about that would be non-Christians, but they should also be scared about what will happen to them when they die. Speaking of, I'm going to be on a podcast. The Bible says what? The episode has already been taped, and I have rage baited that guy so badly that he got mad at me and cut me off after 20 minutes. So hopefully that comes out today. He usually posts on Saturdays. If he does, I can see if maybe we can react to it live on here. Let me check, see if it's been uploaded yet. Checking, looking, passing to the end zone. Nope, not here yet. Speaking of looking, passing to the end zone, yes, thank you. I almost forgot about this, and then we'll talk about the jobs. People on the internet got mad at me for stating out the blatant obvious that a football game is more interesting than a Bible study. What? Big news, guys. Yeah, so people on the internet got mad at me for saying this blatantly obvious fact. Let me see if I can find the original quote. But they're talking about, this happens every year. Sports themed church services come into service on Sunday to have a nice little Super Bowl themed Sunday at church. And Let me see if I can find it. No? Okay. Let me see if I can find it. Find the X search is so bad. You have to use Grok. Find my. Anyway, I was talking about this happens every year. Churches will have football themed services. Now, normal people are excited about that. Normal people are like, wow, this is so interesting. Normal people are like, this is cool. But then, of course, the people online, either because of rage bait, because they do this for clicks, they pretend to be outraged that someone had fun at church. Heaven forbid that you see a football in church. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous. They go on and criticize this. They start whining about this. And I say, I am an honest evangelical. I'm going to say, guys, actually, it's more interesting to watch a football game than to sit in a church service. Especially, I actually said this, that church is repetitive. It is the same thing. If you've been going multiple times, you know what's going to happen. And when you watch a football game, sure it is the same rules, but you don't know exactly what is going to happen. Let me see if I can find this. My quote said, "Church is important, but newsflash, football needs to get this fun." And people got mad at me for saying stuff like that. I don't know why. Ah, yes, here it is. Share this tab instead. So they had this cool service thing outside with a football, like this. Look at this. Doesn't this look cool? Aura, absolute aura. And it says, why can't it happen on Sunday? For once, church is interesting. And someone asks, does this interest you? Yes, guys. Football is actually interesting, guys. I'm straight. And it says, which part? The bad dancing, the lack of meaning, the obvious hype music that distract from the lack of message. And I said, yes, the Bible is a good book, but don't act like football is less interesting on a technical level than the Bible. And this person says it is, and it's not even close. And then I said, and I gave this analogy. Ram, the father of Abinadab, the father of Nashon, the leader of the people of Judah. Nashon was the father of Salmon, Salmon the father of Boaz, Boaz the father of Obed, and Obed the father of Jesse. Now, imagine you hear that in church versus here's this at a football game, football call. Stroud in the gun, Stroud under pressure, looking left, throwing, takes a step back, launches the ball 70 yards, and it's caught at the goal line, touchdown, Houston. Now, which one sounds more interesting to you? Now, let's be honest here, guys. Lying is a sin. We all know which one sounds more interesting to you. It's the football call, unless you're not a Texans fan. Then I guess if you hate the Texans, if you hate CJ Stroud, then maybe the Bible verse sounds more interesting. Now, which one's more important? Obviously, the Bible verse, but important does not equal interesting, and I think that's something that we need to talk about later. But let's talk about what will the jobs be, because this is something that people are concerned about on the internet. Hopefully you guys can see this on the screen. People are afraid that artificial intelligence are going to take their job while the top trillionaires hoard all of the wealth. Now, does that sound like calming nonsense to you? Absolutely. But let's just indulge them for this time, right? They're always scared about the billionaires and trillionaires, right? Because apparently being a billionaire is like a bad thing or something. I don't know. I personally want to be a billionaire, so I will not criticize them. Just like, just like I don't criticize my allies. Like I told my allies, I'm here for you and I am with you and I will always be by your side. And anyway, for the artificial intelligence, I think that we can solve this problem with very limited legislation. The legislation that says you can't make deep fake, non-consensual nude images of someone, that is valid legislation. I think that is a good thing. But I think that's where it should stop here. The Babylon Bee got, they made a parody artificial intelligence ad of, I think, the governor of California. He tried to sue. They won. I think that's fine. I used to be against that, but fine, whatever. I think the backlash to artificial intelligence is becoming the next I don't use social media virtue signal. I don't use social media. I'm above that. Well, now the people on social media, they probably got on it. They got on social media, but now they're using memes and GIFs like, hey, AI costs RAM costs $900 for TS. Yeah, guys, RAM costs. Like, what were you going to do with the RAM in the first place? Eat it? Oh, my goodness, I can't play my favorite video game anymore. Who gives a crap? My goodness. And they were talking about this as well. In the comments, whining about it. I was going back and forth about someone who wasn't doing their history assignment in school because they were going to talk to like an AI chatbot George Washington or whoever the people are, which is kind of something that happened once again in Adventures in Odyssey. In the Fisk Jubilee Singers episode, Happy Black History Month for you guys, this was made in 2010 where they're talking to the magic mirrors. They're talking to the magic mirrors in Adventures in Odyssey, and what happens? He's talking to, I think it was George Watson and Carver, or the guy who led the Fisk Jubilee Singers. Well, now they have something like this 15 years later in the real world, and you have these 15-year-old kids out there who are protesting this, are not doing their assignment because they feel like it violates their quote-unquote morals because AI uses data and uses water. And then when I push back on these points, because they posted it to Reddit and they got all kinds of, yeah, guys, you're so basic. Wow, claps, silently claps. Oh, I hate AI. Like these 14-year-olds. But I hate that emoticon so much. It is the crying emoticon. Oh, it's so creepy. I'm so uncomfortable. Oh my goodness, shut up. You have these annoying people on the internet whining like that, talking like that. And I said, hey guys, agriculture actually uses more water than artificial intelligence ever has or ever will. Well, agriculture is more important. Or they'll say, I tried to explain that all ideas that we use come from other people. We all base our ideas off of something. You don't ever create something out of nothing. They all start off of what other people have to say, and they had nothing to. They didn't want to have anything to say about that. And I just said, okay, come on, look, you hate it, but just do your assignment, do your work. You don't need to be out there protesting everything. Everything doesn't need to be a protest. But these people, they don't want to do their work. They're making these stupid memes, making these stupid comments, they're making these annoying stances because it's what makes them feel value in their life, right? Taking on something. And I think that some people actually feel uncomfortable by it because they do feel unstable to it. That's what this message is for. It's for the people who actually feel uncomfortable, not for the people who are being very performative, right? It's like the kids who go out there and protest ICE or whatever, right? The kids out there don't actually care. No, obviously not. They're just doing it for the clicks, doing it for approval of others, right? So guys, stop seeking the approval of others on the internet. But they whine on about the environment. They feel like that they're getting dumber, and obviously their feelings are irrational. And we obviously can make money off of people's irrational fears. And I think that's one thing that's going to happen. You're going to see the anti-AI movement make lots of money. That's where some jobs are going to come from, particularly in the art industry. Moron Mining actually said this, not a direct quote, but as artificial intelligence art becomes basically indistinguishable from real art, right? The verified quote-unquote real art will become desirable as people will not want that stink of quote-unquote AI slop. So we're also probably going to see this in movies and television as well, as people pretend to resist fascism by hating artificial intelligence, just preserving some jobs in that niche. So what you're going to see is people who want quote-unquote real paintings instead of AI paintings, even though the AI paintings are cheaper, a painting made by a human or whatever. I don't care. I don't care what art is hanging up on my wall, like I've said multiple times. But you're going to see stuff like this. So you're going to see the anti-AI movement basically exploit customers like that. So I think that's where some people are going to get their jobs. The anti-AI movement is going to take the paintings and movies and television shows. It's kind of like the vegan movement or the green movement, where they sell you recycled plastic junk for $30 for something that should be actually worth $5. So we're going to see something like that, but that's far too niche. Not everyone can grift like that. And obviously there's going to be people who still like artificial intelligence like me, or obviously there's going to be people who are not all artists without the help of artificial intelligence. Now let's say that every job on planet Earth were to get replaced, which I don't believe it's going to happen, but let's just indulge these people's dystopian futures, or quote-unquote dystopian futures, and let's indulge them and let's say what kind of job are they going to get. I think the next job industry is going to become content creation. People on the internet have said multiple times authenticity is what's most important. Now, obviously, they were lying to you back in 2017. When you take a stylized photo of yourself, when it's airbrushed and your hair is done perfectly well, and you're standing there on a beach and you're smiling and posing for a picture, you're obviously not being authentic. Now, am I criticizing that? No, I love and will not criticize my allies. But you are lying. You're not being very authentic. Even the quote-unquote authentic photos with your hair blowing in the wind or hair blowing in your face, you're still wearing makeup. You still posed for a picture. Nothing on the internet is 100% real. It's all fake the all click forming, right? No one posts something onto Instagram and doesn't want anyone to see it. I mean, that is basically a Bible verse right there. What is the book? No one lights a lamp and hides it under a bushel. Well, no one posts a picture on Instagram and expects no one to see it. This actually gets back into Instagram stalking before. How is that a thing? If you post something to a public Instagram account and then someone goes back and goes and sees it, that is not stalking. That is seeing something that someone else posted that you posted to the internet for all to see. But I digress. Content creation and authenticity is actually going to become the next currency. Because what you're going to see is people actually wanting your real opinion, not an AI avatar's news opinion. What they're going to want to see is your real day in the life. What you're going to see is your real day, what is happening right now. We actually see this with influencers like the great Clavicular, who was just mogging ASU maxing or something like that. Let me pull up the original post here because we got to talk about this. I wanted to talk about this with my friend who was supposed to come on, but she couldn't make it. You're mogging the. I think that's what's going to happen, guys. So all of you guys who want your your new job is essentially going to become the next Clavicular. Here is a post from someone on the internet, and I think they're probably posting a meme coin because he just posted a fake word. These are obviously not words. This isn't English. This isn't Spanish. This isn't any known language. Everyone talks about how they couldn't understand the Super Bowl halftime show. Well, I could understand what on earth they were saying here. Quote, Clavicular was mere gesticooning when a group of foids came and spiked his cortisol levels, crying emoticon. Is ignoring the foids by munting and mogging the moids more useful than SMV Chad fishing in the club? A great man once said that. Now, I have no idea what any of that means. What is gesticooning? And was he gesticooning to mid people? Or was he in the middle of just gooning? And what does monting and mogging moids mean? What does monting mean? And what is an SMV? Chad fishing. Who knows? But this is what we are all going to become. We're going to have real authentic content. Now, obviously, this isn't authentic. It is something, but it is not authentic. It is the depth of the English language, but it is not authentic. It is insanity, but it's not authentic. But this is what we are going to become. We're going to become our own 24/7-ish live streamers, giving our own opinions and takes on culture and events. Kind of doing what I'm doing right now, but more of this. And people are we're going to have more advertisements inserted into this, and people are going to want the content to be real and not to be artificial intelligence. And I think we as a society are going to say that we want more real content. Maybe not exactly along the lines of what Clavicular is doing, because who knows what he's doing. He's kind of insane. I mean, how is he a thing? How? He's not even that interesting. He just runs around, talks to and talks to mid people, and then says that they're mid, and then says that you have to become pretty, you must ascend to make your way in this world. Now, I talked about last podcast episode how people give false solutions to problems and how people point out problems in society and without giving any real solutions. I think I actually admire Clavicular for giving a solution. And is he right? Is pretty privilege a thing? Maybe. Now, do I agree to all of his excesses? Would I do half the stuff that he does? No, but I do admire him for being able to make lots of money and cause, the hit tweets of our generation. Now, sure, were they in some sort of foreign language? Yes. But I don't think that people should use him to push an agenda that wants to ban the internet for people under the age of 18. I was watching Daily Wire Friendly Fire. They're talking about how he was raised on the internet. He is obviously being performative. He obviously is Teflon Clavicular because he committed some crimes and he ran someone over. He had drugs on him. He had a false ID, and he was still able to get him off. So he probably is a plant. But he has done this, and I'm going to talk to some people about this later. Maybe if they can come on to this episode. But when you talk about what the jobs are going to be, I think it's going to be all going to have to be authentic. We're all going to have our own streams, our own podcast. I mean, let's look at what's happening in the landscape right now. $70 billion to creators over the last 3 years from YouTube. TikTok and Instagram over 3 billion combined users. It's almost half the planet, though some of those are probably duplicate. In this hypothetical, we're going to have people massively flocking to social media and live streaming platforms to talk about their day, entertainment choices, and their policy views. And I think maybe even some independent artificial intelligence food filmmakers. I mean, there is such a niche for this, especially in the news industry. We've seen all these random independent journalism outlets pop up online. I have no idea how they're able to get news. So most of them that are right of center, think like not to be twitchy, are basically reporting what's happening on X and then giving it their commentary to their fans. So essentially, they are relying on X. But there's this application, Citizen, that shows news events that you would not see because it is crowdsourced from people around just with a cell phone in their pocket. I do know this has basically been a whole thing. You can be your own journalist. It's been a thing for like the past 10 years, since like 2015. Right. Well, the application Citizen shows you applications not being picked up by the mainstream outlets because the events are so minuscule. Now, in this new age, people, instead of going through Citizen, are going to do it directly themselves. They're going to report what's happening directly in front of them. We're going to have a new era of news. And unfortunately for Mega, yes, your dances will be recorded. Yes, your first kisses will be recorded. In an age like this, and please stop talking. Animals were not meant to reproduce like this. Please stop with the overwrought, overbearing, over sensationalized nonsense. People are going to give their takes and opinions daily. Instagram has transformed from a simple video sharing application to a gateway into entertainment. Just as television was dominant in the 80s, now 50% of Gen Z say that they prefer short-form content over traditional TV. Just like the MSN portal of the 90s, which we talked about here in the downfall of MSN video, the social media platforms have now become the internet. They are the gateway to the web. The walled garden has been rebuilt, but it has been democratized from the few to the many. And this space will continue to grow. In this new age, where everything is done for us, we humans will still want an outlet for our creativity. Almost every major application in the Play Store is a social shopping or gaming application. This is what computers have become. Now, do I bemoan this transition? Absolutely. Computers have now become our communications interface. People want to watch each other play video games, watch IRL live streams, people watch Get Ready With Me videos. Twizzly Lizzy is a famous Get Ready With Me video. The D.L.E. Barker, who is like 17, I think she just turned 18, basically posts some random quote, posts a picture for face, boom! 40,000 people all like her. They all follow her as well. Technology has progressed to the point where this is the dominant entertainment factor in people's lives. And like they say that we are the media now, we will become the entertainment as well. I think more people are going to make a push into social media content creation and live streaming. And with the shopping applications integrated into stuff like this, we see Instagram basically scanning people's outfits, and then you can click a button on buy. It's not completely accurate as well, but I mean, this would have been such a great feature back when you were running Ava Harper back in 2024, 2025. Maybe she'll come back, maybe won't. For years, people talked about being authentic on social media, and that was the lie. Now, in the age of AI, authenticity might reign supreme and become our new currency. Legislation is not going to stop what is coming. It is best for America that we embrace this technology, because we have our rivals and our enemies are not going to respect that as well, and they will try to overtake us. And so United States should obviously embrace artificial intelligence, and we should embrace this quote-unquote brave new world. Okay, like they say, The Handmaid's Tale is the only book that they've read on the left. Well, apparently Brave New World 1984 is the only book that's been read on the right. So there is that. Anyway, let's get over to Mrwhosetheboss and react to his video, The Tiniest Tech on the Internet.
Do you realize how much money?
All right. Hopefully you guys can see this on the screen. It is unfortunate that this is the only way that we can share our screen on Rumble Studio, but it is nice that I'm allowed to multi-stream to 3 different outlets.
This will save us.
What's that?
I just built a budgeting app with Base 44. Look, it pulls out.
This is the tiniest tech.
Oh my gosh, Moon, what are we doing again? Yes, piracy is theft, bro.
You'll actually want to carry it every day. So the goals are simple. We've had to find it that cover every possible situation. Each one has to provide a high-end experience, but in the most compact way possible.
That's nice, and I do like seeing the new technology that he shows on his website. I am kind of scared on his YouTube channel that he might run out of topics to talk about. That's one of my fears as well. I don't want to do that.
It needs charging. charges with USB-C. It's just easy. And everything is black silver because it looks stealthy AF. And they were the only colors we could get it all in. So let's start small and just keep getting smaller. Believe it or not, every single thing on this table will actually fit into this one tiny sling bag.
Oh, nice.
Beginning with something
Let's see what this is.
that's typically pretty hard to reduce in size. Water. This pocket flask from Labo Mono is my absolute
$26 though. These things are so very expensive. And like, just get water when you land. Okay, you can dehydrate for 8 hours.
favorite right now because it holds 250 mils of drink. It doesn't leak in the slightest. If it did, we'd have a bit of a problem right now. Thanks to this valve that needs you to bite down on it. And the more you drink,
Chug.
the smaller it gets.
That's nice, but should it cost $26? $26 for that?
Up to literally a quarter of its original size. But smaller still is our power bank.
Who makes this? $56 for a 10,000 milliamp hour power bank. I just got a regular 10,000 milliamp hour power bank and then put it at the bottom of the bag. It's basically the size of a cell phone. It does not cost them.
This tiny from Baseus, I think, has to have the greatest size to output ratio of any compact battery. So the thing's barely bigger than an AirPods case. It delivers 45 watts of power, which is just enough to also be able to charge most thin and light laptops. Has a braided USB-C cable built in to do that, with an extra port to stick a second cable in. And it has a 10,000 milliamp hour capacity, which might not sound all that special. If you search on Amazon for the best mini power bank, you'll almost definitely find one with apparently similar specs and 1,000 glowing reviews, like this.
They're most likely scams.
Also, supposedly 10,000 milliamp hours. But they're kind of lying to you. And to show you what I mean, I drained 2 identical phones completely flat and then plugged them in. The left phone into our Baseus, the right one into our Amazon power bank. And both managed to get the phones to exactly 55% after 20 minutes, which is great. But while that process drained the Amazon brick all the way till 56% remaining, Baseus still had 74. That's a colossal difference, especially considering—
I wonder what's happening. If they're lying to you about the battery capacity, I wonder how you could test that. Or it's losing power somehow through the cable. Maybe the phone is wasting power, so it has to get it back again.
The quoted capacities are the same. So we'll bag this, and don't cheap out on your power banks because there are differences in the quality of battery, in terms of how much energy they waste, and even whether the company is quoting the rated max capacity or the typical usable capacity.
Yeah, maybe it's using all that power just to show the battery percentage somehow.
But it's the charger we found that I say is really testing the little impact engineering.
I don't really see a point to that. Like, just get a regular brick. Again, $79 is pretty expensive.
This thing seriously blows my mind. Because even like 2 years ago, I told you this is the best 3-in-1 wireless charger. It has
it's
your
wireless? Oh, okay.
phone on top, your earphones just behind that, and then watches with this little sidearm. But now, look at this. The Cooksview X40 Turbo, which I would say is genuinely less than 1/3 of the volume, still charges all 3 things, and this is Qi 2.2 wireless charger.
I mean, that's pretty nice. How fast is it, though? I'm just not that big a fan of wireless chargers.
Charging. So 25 watts of power instead of 15. The only thing like that's possible is not waste a millimeter with this design. And everything we've tested from Anker and Belkin currently is still just bulkier with no extra benefit. And then to power the thing, the smallest 65 watt brick in the world from Rolling Wire.
Okay, I just take a 25 or 45 watt brick. That's basically the same thing. I was hoping for more niche, interesting small tech.
Just to give you an idea of how it's at it, this is 65 watts. This is the latest 70 charging brick from Apple. Just like the wireless charger, this is basically the theoretical limit with current tech for how tiny you can go while still being high performance. And obviously that's with the absolutely enormous UK plug on the end of it. The US version is even tinier, although also worse for reasons that are not up for debate. And I'm pairing that with the Nomad USB-C charge key. This tiny keyring supports up to 240 watts of power and 10 gigabits per data transfer.
That's useful there.
And the tips are magnetic, so they snap together. I don't think there is a tinier, more hassle-free way to always make sure you have full-speed USB-C with you. It's just dawning on me how many
most interesting tech thing that you want to have. Like that's a thing a techie would want.
products we have to still fit in here. Thank goodness they are getting increasingly minuscule. Like this is a towel from Matador.
Who on earth is going to pay $20 for a towel? Doesn't the Apple towel cost $19? You outpriced Apple somehow.
It's basically made of a nanofiber that can absorb a lot more than it looks like. It's actually absorbent enough that if push comes to shove, you could use this tiny thing to dry your whole body. Yes.
Okay, that just... Is it worth $20 to be dry? Like, just be wet.
I've tried it. Know that footage will not be making it to YouTube.
It'll behave, baby.
But just to give you an idea, this is a towel, which also does not take up a lot of space. Really not exaggerating when I say full size.
More useful than the hand towel.
So this is 200 mils of water. We'll fold this towel up, stick it in. Let's come back to that in a bit to see how much liquid it's picked up. Now, one piece of tech that is practically impossible to miniaturize effectively is the speaker. Because as a general rule, the smaller the speaker, the less air it's going to be able to push.
Yeah, I actually reviewed the Boyko's Blade speaker. I think it's the most popular video on this channel. But it turns anything that you want into its speakers. Let's see if he picks that one.
And therefore, the less thump it's going to be able to create. The One Vibe Go is, in my test,
I've never heard of this company, so look into them. Maybe they'll send me something for you.
The absolute best compromise. So this is the iPhone speaker, max volume. And then this...
Ancient iPhone 16.
Is the Momax. It doesn't defy the laws of physics, but it is just small enough that you could throw it into a sling or a pocket, but just big enough that you could host a whole house party on this thing. Okay.
I've never been to a house party, but I don't think so.
Maybe a flat party.
Taxes is feeling a lot. Now Taxes is an open door to new TurboTax stores. Meet our...
And it still has water resistance, as well as an actually...
This might be the best product that he's featured so far.
Usable, realistic battery life of like 8 hours, with one extra trick. It's also a MagSafe phone stand. Things that do lots of things. Good for a compact setup. While we're saving space, why don't we also just trim down the biggest pocket filler, the wallet, to its most minimal possible form.
The problem is you can't carry cash, so...
Secrid Card Protector Plus. I showed you guys the original card protector in our last EDC video, and we've been using it every day since, because it is so thin. It stops any of your cards bending, it's RFID blocking, it has this very slick ejecting mechanism, all while still holding 5 to 6 cards. And this Plus is...
I that, and I carry cash. Don't shoot me, guys. Most of those cards are library cards.
Just an even better version of it, with an even tighter grip on your cards and a fluted design.
Whoa. Oh my goodness. Guys, let's guys, this is gonna be historic. Guys, look who liked my... Oh, dang it. It's fake. Shoot. I was gonna say. Dang it. Man, we would have had historic or... Dang it, guys. Anyway, back to the video.
It's very fun to play with. I've yet to see a better wallet than this. So you can go right in the very front. Now, if you're someone who wears sunglasses on the daily, well, A, I'm very jealous of you, but also B, you've almost definitely felt the pain of the storage case.
Spy sunglasses, metal glasses. Pew! It's like that guy who runs around with the teddy bears, trolling the kids.
Tripling the space the things take up. So, this company, called Lens Wrapper, actually just understood that name, has made something titchier. They said that the important thing is...
That's smart. Does that really matter? I'm not sure. This people got here. What's going on over on Instagram? Can't open this up in public. Hazel's Truth. What is Hazel's Truth up to?
Okay. Well, they were right. You obviously lose some protection, but yeah, this is a pretty solid compromise for the space that it saves you. That said, if you want to do this properly, then you can't beat the Rove foldable sunglasses.
Foldable?
I think they look sick. I've been using a pair for
Aren't all sunglasses foldable?
years now with no
Oh, $175. Whoa, just look at the sun. My goodness. Ah, yes, our allies. But that's great. That's great there. Forgot your name. But, okay.
durability issues while being so thin that you could probably use them as a knife. And these things, they fold down into something that is literally highs of even that. Difference is crazy. Only thing is, they absolutely make you pay for the privilege.
Yeah,
This is
$175,
$175, which for
Diabolical.
15 grams of material is nuts. I feel like we always see flashlights in everyday carry gear videos, and I'm always skeptical because your phone already has one that's already enough for most situations. So the only way that, to me, a dedicated flashlight makes sense is if it's both much brighter than your phone without taking up a lot of extra space. Thankfully, this is both. So let's say it's 3 a.m. You're jolted awake by a noise. Footsteps. They're coming from nearby. Your
Did
heart
you just get your phone?
is in your throat. So you reach out, you grab your Claros E5 Ultra flashlight and edge towards the door. Oh my god, there is someone there. And they are literally just around the corner. So you bolt through the doorway, you flash your light, and find out it's your employee who ran out of his own Doritos.
Okay.
Phew, that's a relief. If, though, you picked up your phone instead of that flashlight, basically all you can see is an ominous silhouette, which somehow makes the whole thing even more terrifying. Whoops. Yeah, I just love this thing, because it has this spotlight mode that you've seen, but then also, flick the switch down, that's floodlight, which has a much wider vision, plus a red light used as a beacon, which is, again, extremely bright, plus a magnet to snap it onto things, plus a clip, so you can even whack it onto your bag strap like this, and light your way with the floodlight while keeping both hands free. So obviously we've already got this sling bag that we're packing all of our gadgets into, but what if you wanted to buy a few more bits while you're away? Well, that's where the Nano Bag Day Pack comes in. Would you believe me if I
A
said
$33 bag. Wow.
this was a backpack?
I think it's not great.
Yeah, fair enough. A backpack with 2 straps, a zipper that itself weighs only about 30 grams.
Well, yeah, the thing about this is that it's like getting the sleeping bag back into the hole. It's so hard to get it back in. It's so annoying. It's because they suck out all of the air.
But is able to carry 30 kilograms worth of weight. 30 kilograms being a lot of improvised weapons, should you hear the dreaded 3 a.m. creaking. It's also kind of surreal how it stays permanently connected to this miniature cover, so that you are always ready to just stuff it down and fold it back into itself.
It would be nice if it didn't have those loads on it, because then you could really hide it.
Time to get this bag in my bag. Now, once in a blue moon, when I do actually leave the house, the one thing I around is some hand sanitizer. I'm waiting all video to make that joke. I think it was worth it. This is great. It's flat, so it slips very easily into front pockets. It's
No, $16 for that. Just get normal hand sanitizer or just wash your hands.
refillable. It smells like, I wouldn't go as far as to say cologne, but like somewhere halfway between hand sanitizer and the find the idea of hand sanitizer is so much more convenient than, all soap sheets, because they need water, which you're not always going to have. The amount of functionality we've already crammed into this sling is beyond me. Slip that into my handbag. But the biggest issue with emergency gear, whether it's a sanitizer or a power bank, is remembering to top the thing up. And that's where I think the rolling square battery is genius. So yes, I did already show you an amazing power bank earlier, but in my experience, there are 2 kinds of power bank users. There are, well, people like me who are always on their phones, tablets, and laptops, and just like the idea of keeping everything topped up. That's who the basiest one is for. But then there's also the people who are just phone users, and they want a power bank more as an emergency backup for their phone. That's who this is for. It's small enough that you can slide it onto your keys,
Yeah,
so
this
we're only
might be
talking
useful.
2,000 milliamp hours of juice. But
It's about half a phone, maybe a third.
it's still enough to get most modern phones from completely flat to about 25 amp charge. I really like how you can just snap a bank off, revealing both DC cable baked inside and a second cable that is actually both micro USB and Lightning. I'm a strong advocate.
That's very useful.
For emergency, sometimes giving your friends and family who may not have the same regard for the latest technologies. But this is what makes me go from like to love. They give you a magnetic dock.
This might be the most useful or second most useful product that we've seen so far.
This is how you charge the power bank, but the magnet is also strong enough to support your whole set of keys. So it creates this automatic system where you come home, you need to stick your keys up somewhere anyway, and then by sticking them here, you make sure that the next time you need to go somewhere, you are completely charged and ready to go again.
Can give you this for a better deal on that.
Bring in your AT&T or T-Mobile bill for a better deal.
My back. How about low-friendly support?
But now we're getting into what I would call the micro realm with the AirFly 2. It's a little situational, but if you are a plane traveler, it feels like a must. Excuse me. Oh, goodness, this is cozy. Because while the very newest planes have Bluetooth, which means your nice wireless earphones can pair directly to the screen, most planes still don't. Meaning that the only way you can listen is those wired headphones they throw out that honestly wouldn't feel too generous as part of a Happy Meal. So the idea is you plug your AirFly in, and this effectively gives the plane the Bluetooth that you need to connect to the earphones you want.
Why how long this company is going to stay in business?
Two sets of earphones, so you can watch the same movie as the person sitting next to you. So, but let's say the content selection on this plane is just terrible, which it usually is. Here's what I'm doing right now. I'm currently on a bit of a K-drama streak, so I just finished The Glory, which is literally the second best TV show I've ever watched in my life. And so next on my list is Night Has Come. The problem is you can't watch Night Has Come on Netflix in the UK, so you need to pull up Surfshark VPN.
Okay, that's an ad.
And I think the Atom controller is a very interesting proposition. Let them pick this controller and Nintendo Switch.
When can't you use a touchscreen?
Well, this isn't just like water with loads of food coloring.
And I mean, at that point, if you're bringing an entire Switch on the plane, bring the controllers. I actually played Mario Kart on the Switch. Very, very hard. Very hard.
A little too small to properly wrap your hands around, but pretty sure my wife loves it. It's that too. The fruity pink cocktail. And I think it really comes into its own when you're planning on playing 4 to 8 player multiplayer on the go. Because
why do people always talk about alcohol like fruity versus, I guess, regular?
These is a lot more portable than a bag of these, or even Joy-Cons. Okay, let's stow these away into the carry-on. There you go. There you go. Thank you very much. We can't have an everyday carry without a multi-tool. I mean, how else am I going to aggressively offer to fix someone's loose cabinet hinge at a house party, except for it's only 2 micro. Part of it is just the fact that this doesn't overlap as much with the other things we're already packing. Like, this is Victorinox's mini multi-tool, for example. Best part of this are
$50? Nah.
a flashlight, which we already have a better one of, and a pen, which I'm about to show you a better one of. Plus, I find some of these tools so fiddly. Like, what am I meant to cut with this? Whereas the Leatherman to me feels as small as you can go without feeling like a Christmas crack.
Yeah, $50 though? God gave you hands and fingernails. Use them.
It's got a bottle opener, unboxing knife, 3 different types of screwdriver, even a 12cm ruler. But what if you need to measure more than 12 centimeters? This is the Midori XS tape measure. I never really thought of myself as someone who would carry a tape measure wherever I go.
I mean, this would be good for like solving cases, solving crimes, I guess checking your waist. Like if you eat, see how much you expanded.
So tiny that you kind of might as well. It's really fast. I can measure up to a meter and a half. You can buy fancier and more expensive tapes like this one, made of titanium, but in my experience, the mechanism here isn't actually as reliable as the Midori. It gets caught every now and again. I love it when the cheap option is actually the better option. But what's probably more handy than always being ready to find out the exact centimeter length of what you see on the go?
I guess I do like it when that happens, where it's always like that book. What's the book? The Secret Garden, The Hidden Garden, where the rich kid learns a lesson. I hate it when stuff like that happens, or when, what's his name? I forgot his name. The kid, Pablo? No. Poetry from the Sugar Creek Gang is put onto a diet. I thought that was kind of annoying. Very, very sad. I kind of hate it when stuff like that happens. When the person dies. Oh, if I get 10 people watching this, I can do sponsorships. Nice.
Is a little carrying case. Now that I've reached the couple of limits for the wisdom. And this case by Curve is so good for a few pills or gum or coins, or they even sell earplugs specifically made to fit nicely. It's easy to open and close, it's waterproof, and it comes with this sleeve that lets you, in the lowest hassle way possible, clip it onto things. AirTags have just been upgraded for the first time ever, so you can now precision find them from 50% further away, and the speakers on them for location are like 50% louder too.
Oh, nice.
So let's say I was incredibly dense and I lost it there. Oh yeah. I feel like you could hear that probably at least a floor above, maybe two. Considering that the AirTag 1s were already the most reliable trackers in my testing, this feels like a bit of a no-brainer. The only thing I'm adding to that, which can be very useful, is a fabric sticker. It just keeps your AirTag in its own designated place that's near the edge of your bag, so it's got the best chance of being picked up. But you are not ready for the most insane price-to-size ratio of any product in this video, but also the most insane performance-to-size ratio. This is ShiftCam's Creator SSD. How much storage do you think this adds to your phone?
I'm going to say 2.5 terabytes.
Considering that this is Samsung's latest SSD and this is 2 terabytes.
Oh, I have that.
2 terabytes. This has as much storage as this. And while it isn't as fast, it's still fast enough that you can use this to record ProRes footage directly from your iPhone, which looks a lot better than this normal footage, and is about the most demanding thing that most people would want from their phones. Is it cheap? Hell no. But is it an incredible product if you do splash out? Yes. It's shockproof.
This might be pretty useful. Is it worth the price? I'd say 150. I'm not sure.
Splashproof, dustproof, and they even give you this little extender, so it still fits nicely while you've got a case on.
Okay.
And we can actually
I mean, they should probably give me a phone with the price it costs then.
close the front pocket.
Meet the all-new Fidelity Trader Plus.
I wish it had USB pass-through. If it had that, that could basically replace the SD card slot on phones.
With your preferred tools, customized charts, and streaming data.
I also wish that phones had 2 USB-C ports. But...
It's happening. And now from read and write to write. Sorry. And it is the tiniest pen that I could actually see myself using.
Why would you want that?
I'm not normally too fussed about materials, but this being made of titanium is kind of the reason that it's strong enough for you to transform it like this, doubling the thing's length, but still without it feeling like I'm one misplaced apostrophe from snapping the thing in half. Very smooth writing experience too. Although I have no idea why it needed to be so spiky on the end. It takes up like negative space. But perhaps nothing embodies this video better than the Casio Ring Watch.
Not worth it, bro. You got wrist. You got that. Well, that's all you have. If, as you guys know, if you are paying something for... Oh, wait. Oh, dang it. I gotta have 10 people watching on Rumble. Well, let's see. Oh, Elijah's asking, hey, how's it going? It's going well, thank you. If you had any questions, you can ask them now because we're about to ask end, but, you know, I don't have anything else to do. You know, just like the environmentalist movement, just like all of these other movements that exist, where they making you spend tons of money, well, that's what the minimalist movement is doing, and that's what the making things smaller movement also is doing as well. So if you guys are interested in that, you got to pay up, you got to pay the fee, you got to pay the toll. But if you have any questions, I'll just stay on for an extra minute, see if anyone has any questions, and then we'll leave. Let's see, anyone? No, I'm not really seeing anything here. So God bless. Tech talk to you later. And God bless America.